to show up and unpack, how to show up, how to grow up, how to take up over. Take a silent breath, hold in the chest, tell yourself you feel it here. Take some bags upstairs, you still share one day, but you're not the same. You don't fight it, you don't hide it, it's a whole new game. So how to return home, how to return home, how to return home, how to return home. Your barefoot sliding on the old wooden floorboards, just as you left, still your shoe.
Yay! Excellent, excellent job. That's very, very well sung. It's already sounding very, very polished too. I mean, there's already so much great stuff going on there. It's not even, I don't really have too much of a criticism, more of just a suggestion, actually. And I want to hear your feedback and your input on this. I got the sense that the song very much stays in the same emotional arc throughout its entirety. It doesn't have much of a journey in the song per se, and that's just has to do with the way the lyrics are written. But I also want to see if we can find a little bit more of an arc within the context of these words. And for that, I want to have your input of, for you, what does the song mean? How are you interpreting it? I mean, we don't have really a musical to find context. So we have to find our meaning specifically from the words that are in the song. So what does it mean to you? And if there is a journey, maybe, that we can somehow find within these lyrics.
When my teacher and I were looking at the song itself, we were trying to look for character and see if there was some sort of story behind this character, and there really wasn't any. So we just kind of had to interpret it. I kind of interpret it as, when someone like goes away to like college or something, and then they come back, they have all new experiences, and they kind of look back on like their childhood home, and everything looks the same, but they've changed in some way, and they're kind of just like reflecting on that, maybe for good or for bad, but I think they're just kind of trying to figure out who they are.
Yeah, it's dealing with a personal change when what's around you screams all the same, right? And so would you say that overall the narrator is thinking positively or negatively about this?
Pretty negatively, I would say.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you too. I think it's clear that the narrator's having a hard time coping with this. And it's got this wonderful imagery throughout. It's amazing how specific these words are, and then at the same time you can kind of develop your own story to go with them. There's so many ways you can interpret it. So how about we start once again and maybe start it from more of an introspective place. So it's probably not going to be too much on your voice really right at the beginning. You can even sort of cheat a little breathiness in it, or if not breathiness, some shorter phrases, maybe breathe a little bit more often, as if like the words are just coming to you in pieces. Like you can't even formulate like a full thought right off the bat. Does that make sense? And I think that'll kind of lend the beginning a sense, more of a sense of vulnerability, which is, I think, definitely something that this song is asking for. And even when you get to the first chorus there, when it gets to take a silent breath, hold in the change, that repeated line, every time that lyric comes back, it has to mean something slightly different. It's interpreted and it's in a new context. So every time you come back to that chorus, you want to find a subtly different way in which to sing it. So that first time through, maybe take that introspective type of feeling and bring that into the first time you sing the chorus. So it's not going to be quite as much of a powerhouse as later on when the song builds up momentum. So it kind of, I'm thinking of the emotional arc of the song as starting more to yourself introspectively, and then as the song goes on, there's more of a sense of anger, maybe, or frustration that causes the intensity to get greater. And then as the song ends, that intensity becomes bitterness, really. I think the song ends up being quite bitter at the end. And I think you can really sting those last words, really, use your consonants to inflect the frustration that the narrator is feeling. Does that all make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, yeah, no problem. So basically, find contrasts and accentuate them.
Okay.
So, yeah, no problem. So let's try that one more time. I'd love for you to just sing it all the way through a second time.
Your bare feet sliding on the old wooden floorboards, home just as you left it, still you're shaking, like walking into a museum somehow out of time. It's all the same except the girl in the hallway. What's been and who she ripened into. Your childhood's on the other side of us, rolling to fight. To what? Take a silent breath, hold in the change. Tell yourself you still live here. Take your bags upstairs. Sorry, I just completely forgot the words. Count the hours, take a shower, wash yourself away. The house is pulsing with an alien heartbeat. Was it always here, but you never listened? It's calling you to be the girl that you were way back then. Again, take a silent breath, hold in the change. Tell yourself you still live here. Take your bags upstairs. Put away your clothes, take it nice and slow. Be your daughter, nothing's harder when nobody knows how to return home, how to return home, and how to survive. There's no written guidelines. How to go back, how to show up and unpack, how to show up, how to grow on the old wooden floorboards. Just as you left, still you're shaking.
Yes, very good, very excellent work. I really heard more of a dramatic arc that time. I love how it began almost had almost the sense of inquisitiveness to it, like you were almost puzzled that it could be the same when you're so different at the beginning, and then how it got angry and then was very bitter at the end. I really saw much more of that arc. That was really excellently done. Did you feel a difference in how that made you perform as well?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that was really well done. All right, little tiny suggestions just for a little bit of vocal work. When you go into that really low part of your voice, kind of like at the beginning when you hit those low notes, don't feel like you have to reach for them. If you start to feel any sort of like in your throat or kind of in your upper chest, you're kind of digging too deep. Remember that even when the notes are low, they always have to have that sense of vibration that's above the roof of the mouth, right? So never let it feel like it has to sink way down. Always keep a sense of lift in the vowel. The vowel is probably going to feel a lot more horizontal in a way down there, but it should always still have a sense of focus that's way out here at this level rather than down into your mouth. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Can you just sing the very opening lines where you hit those low notes and just cheat the vowel a little bit more towards like an ah place so that the tongue stays nice and high.
Sliding on the old wooden floorboards.
Yeah, floorboards. It's almost like the vowel becomes a little bit more in it. Yeah, don't be afraid to kind of adjust the vowel a little bit to suit your voice. It doesn't have to be a super pure vowel down there. Try it one more time. A little bit more in it.
Your parents sliding on the old wooden floorboards.
Yeah, do you feel the difference? Yeah, it's just a little slight difference will help those vowels speak a little bit more, and then it keeps your timbre a little bit more even when you go into that really low part of your voice. All right. Excellent work. Does anybody have anything else to say? Oh, I don't know where Jadon went. Oviya, do you have anything to comment? Anything to say?
I think it was really good, and it was like there was a lot of power in it and a lot of emotion, so it was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it has like a lot of meaning to it, you know. And you have to sing it like strong, kind of. So yeah, good job.
Good. Yeah, excellent job, Grace. That's very well sung. Do you have any other questions?
So thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. All right, who wants to go next? Somebody, come on.
I'll go then.
All right, Jadon. All right, so you're going to be singing You Raise Me Up, right?
Yeah,
you want to?
so it's kind of like a long intro, so I'm gonna just do it like from where like the song actually like really starts. When I am down and oh my soul so weary, when troubles gone and my heart burdened be, and I am still and waiting with the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can than I can be. That's so hard. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. Raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be. Thank you.
Good job, Jadon. Very, very good job. Yeah, I
Yes.
even.
I messed up on like that key change, like going
That's
to like the
That's all right. That's okay. That's not a big deal. I've heard you do it many times before where you didn't. So I know you can do it. Sometimes when we're performing for other people, sometimes the nerves get the best of us and we do things that we normally wouldn't do. But that's not a big deal. So be careful when you go to the really tippy top of your voice, right? Don't let that vowel become too wide. Don't make sure it doesn't get that sound to it, but that there's a little bit more of that warmth in the sound, right? So the vowel has to get taller and a little bit more vertical. You don't want to feel the vowel spreading this way because then it's going to affect your timbre. So can we just quickly do the, let's see, the part where it goes up to that, I am strong, the high section, that time through the chorus. And I want you to just focus on those vowels getting a little bit taller, right? The A becomes more of an and the I becomes a little bit more of an I, okay?
So should I just do it a cappella?
Just do it a cappella, yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So we're doing it from, yeah. So when I am still.
You raise me up.
Oh yeah, you raise me up. Okay. So you raise me up so I can stand on mountains. Like that?
Mm-hmm. Now you rise. Make sure that it's not you rise. Right? That's the difference. You rise. You rise.
You rise. stormy seas.
Oh, good. Yeah, good, good. So right there, that was the vowel that you want. It's taller, right? There's a little bit more space, and then your voice retains the resonance that you had in the lower part of your voice. If you let that vowel become squeezed, then we lose the warmth in your sound, and we also lose the sense of the pitch a little bit. So that was a lot better there. Do you feel the difference?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, good, 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 good. Overall, vocally, I mean, besides those little things, vocally, it's in very, very good shape. So the next step for you, Jadon, I think, is to find a little bit more nuance in how you deliver the text. Kind of what we were talking about earlier when we were talking about rubato and singing the notes with a sense of the stress of the language in mind. So when you say words like, "You raise me up so I can stand on mountains," you say it with a sense of rhythm that's inherent to the language. You don't say, "You raise me up so I can stand on mountains." Then we would sound like robots if we talked like that all the time. So there's a rhythm to the language, and you want to incorporate that into the music that you're singing. Even though those notes are on the page, it doesn't mean that every eighth note is exactly equal to every other eighth note. You have to take the language into account. So can we try once more from the very beginning into the first chorus? And I want you to pay more attention to the stresses that are in the language. You don't have to be quite so exact with the rhythms that you're singing. It doesn't have to be when I am down and oh my soul so weary. Give it a little bit more shape. When I am down and oh my soul so, this is very low for me, but when I am down and oh my soul so weary, you know, bring back the syllables that aren't so important, and then really sing into the syllables that are important. Try that? Okay.
Yeah, I'll try that, yeah. When I am down.
Yep, right from the beginning. Just don't spend quite so long on the when I am, you know, because that's not as important. The word down is the important word.
Yeah.
When I am down and oh my soul so weary. Let that be reflected in how you shape the phrase.
When I am down and oh my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burden be, then I am still and waiting in the silence.
Good. So let's try that again. And don't worry about the little flub there at the beginning. Just remember that even though you don't have to spend a lot of time on the word when, make sure that there's a lot of ooh at the beginning to focus your sound. But let's go. Then I am still and wait here in the silence. A little bit more to yourself there, right? You're still. So don't sing through it. You know, take that breath and be a little bit more introspective.
So it goes like, and I am still and waiting in the silence until you come and sit a while with me.
Mm-hmm. And so who are you talking about?
Like God sitting with us.
Yeah, you're talking about kind of divine intervention, right? So this is not everyday ordinary stuff. This is really something powerful. This is something that is awe-inspiring. So until you come and sit a while with me. It's a little bland for what you're saying. So don't worry so much about the exact rhythms. Start to convey the meaning of the text. Until you come and sit a while with me. You know, try that.
Until you come and sit a while with me.
Good, good. Do you feel a difference?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not, and it's hard to explain because it's not something that I can just, you know, say, oh, do this with your vowel, do this with your airflow, and, you know, then it will happen. It's something that requires a lot of practice because it's very, very nuanced. So it's something that you want to spend time with. You want to take a look at the lyrics as a piece of poetry, sit down with them and you know, think about what they mean to you, and how you want to convey that in the text with the music, right? So that it doesn't just, so that it becomes more than just notes on a page,
Yeah.
right? Because you're singing it really, really well now. You know, it's come a long way, and it sounds very secure in your voice overall. So now you can really say something with it since you're gaining that mastery. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it is.
All right. Does anybody else have something to say? Some suggestions or some comments for Jadon?
I think it was really beautiful. I think you did really well. Great job.
Thank you.
I think it was really good. Good job.
Thank you.
All right. Well, you guys are very nice. You're very, very complimentary to each other, which is wonderful. That's good. And it was a very good job. So I think the main thing to focus on now, in addition to remembering those tall vowels when you get high, right? The main thing to focus on now is to really to send a message with how you sing it, especially since it's kind of a, you know, it's a bit of a repetitive song. You sing the chorus like 4 times, I think, over the course of the song, and it's like a 4-minute song. So you do really want to have a slightly different intention with the way you sing those words every time they come around again. So my advice to you now is to just explore what you can do with it. Play with the dynamics, you know, play with your rubato, right? We discussed what rubato meant about an hour ago, right, in our lesson. So play with that end, the interpretive end, and then it'll go from being really good to amazing.
Yeah.
Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right. Last but not least, Oviya, what are you, remind everyone what you're singing today.
Ciao Sole del Gange.
Jaya Sole dal Gange. Good. That is by Scarlatti.
Mhm.
And you're going to be performing it just a cappella, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So your pitches. Okay.
Ciao Sole del Gange, ciao Sole del Gange, più chiaro, sfavilla, più chiaro, sfavilla, più chiaro, sfavilla. E te giorni stilla dell'alba che piange. Dell'alba che piange, dell'alba che piange, dell'alba che piange. Già il sole dal Gange, già il sole dal Gange, più chiaro, sfavilla, più chiaro, sfavilla, più chiaro, sfavilla. Col raggio dorato, in gemma ogni stello, in gemma ogni stello, in gemma ogni stello. cielo dipinge nel prato. Dipinge nel prato, dipinge nel prato, dipinge nel prato. Col raggio dorato, in gemma ogni stello, in gemma ogni stello, in gemma ogni stello.
Good work. Very, very good work. Right off the bat, I have to really commend you on the effort that you put in to the Italian. Because it really, it's sounding very, very good, and there's only like a couple little tiny things that we can address in the Italian, but generally it's very, very clear, and you bring a sense of confidence to the language, which is, you know, very hard to do, especially at your age. You know, dealing with a foreign language can be a really, really difficult thing, and sometimes it puts people off, and it causes them to disconnect with the piece. But I think for you, I think it just sounds quite natural in your voice. Yeah, no problem. So that's a really, really wonderful thing. And along with that, I love the sense of legato that you're bringing to it, especially there. You know, these types of things can start to sound really, really choppy if you're not careful. But you brought a sense of ease in your voice to those passages, and so they still felt a lot more connected. So that was really, really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right, couple things. Make sure that in the second verse, when you have the col raggio dorato, that it doesn't, that was the only place where it started to feel a little bit choppy, and that's because of the double G on raggio. So just make sure that you're able to continue that legato line even when there's a double consonant. Col raggio dorato, col raggio dorato. Okay, and then ogni stelo. Make sure that the L in stelo is not doubled. So it's different from the first verse. In the first verse, you have the word sfavilla, sparkles. Sfavilla has a double L. But then in the second verse, stelo means stem. Stelo is just a single L. So make sure that you really spend some time on that vowel when you're singing. So I'm just going to read, just for everyone's benefit, I'm going to read the translation to this song. So, già il sole dal Gange più chiaro sfavilla. Already the sun from the Ganges River is sparkling brighter. E terge ogni stilla dell'alba che piange, and dries every drop of the dawn which weeps. Col raggio dorato in gemma ogni stelo, with gilded ray it bejewels every stem. E gli astri del cielo dipinge nel prato, and paints the stars of heaven upon the meadow. Okay, so a very poetic language. Essentially, you're talking about the beauty of nature, specifically at the Ganges River, because that's what this is from an opera that's taking place in China. But just in general, we're taking the song out of context. This song is about the beauty of nature, and there's really some wonderful imagery in here. Right from the get-go, già il sole dal Gange più chiaro sfavilla. So you're talking about the sun over the Ganges River from the east, and it's sparkling. It's bright and sparkling. So I want you to take some of these ideas and some of these images and let that inform the timbre that you're using. Okay. Right? So it should never feel dark. And even though this is a classical song, right, and the timbre that we use in classical music is perhaps a little bit warmer and a little bit darker than, say, a musical theater type piece, we still want to have a sense of brightness and life to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to lean into these runs and maybe even take the tempo slightly faster. And then always keep that sense of lift here
Mm-hmm.
in the zygomatic arch, no matter what vowel you're singing. So instead of Già il sole dal Gange, yes, this stays very relaxed, but while this is staying relaxed, there's energy up here. There's like an inner smile with all of the vowels. Già il sole dal Gange. Just say that. Già il sole dal Gange.
Già il sole dal Gange.
Yeah, one more time. Già il sole dal Gange.
Già il sole dal Gange.
Good, yeah. So bring that sense of lift to all of your vowels.
Okay.
The trick is to balance that with a nice relaxed jaw so that it doesn't become Già il sole dal Gange. But I don't think you're going to go that far. That would be quite a stretch. So just remember this lift and energy all in this part of your face while staying relaxed here. And let's bring the tempo up just a little bit. About there, if we can manage it. Are you standing up?
Yes.
Okay, good, good, good. So that'll definitely help. All right, so just try that and really focus on the brilliance of these vowels.
Okay. Do I sing the entire thing or do I stop?
I'll stop you. Just keep going
Okay.
until I stop you. We'll probably at least get through the first part.
All right. Già il sole dal Gange, già il sole dal Gange, più chiaro sfavilla, più chiaro sfavilla, più chiaro sfavilla.
Good, 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 good. Let's stop there for a second. So be careful that when you feel this energy, that it doesn't make your pitch go sharp. But that'll be easier when you have it with accompaniment. I know over Zoom it's sometimes easier to just do it a cappella. So when you're doing it a cappella, just make sure that you keep the sense of pitch in your mind while you're singing, and don't let the brightness make you go sharp. But that was exactly what we want. One tiny minor adjustment. When you say più chiaro sfavilla, it is a double L, but it has to sound like one word. It kind of sounds like svavilla, that are two different words. So don't kind of just drop on that word, because that word literally means sparkling. So it can't have like a big drop in it. Svavilla. Even when you go down, the sense of the word has to continue upwards. So can we try from più chiaro? Oh no, sorry, I'm in the wrong part. Più chiaro sfavilla, più chiaro sfavilla, più chiaro sfavilla. And everything continues up, okay?
Più chiaro sfavilla, più chiaro sfavilla.
Better. Good. So let's jump to the same passage later on with the different words. So that's basically the second verse. Col raggio dorato. So this is 10 times trickier than the opening because of that double G. So can we, as an exercise, I want you to forget about the double G for a second and pretend it's a single G, and then show me how even and bright and fast and effortless you can make that run at the beginning.
Okay. Col raggio dorato,
Yeah, try one more time, and don't focus on what you're hearing, of yourself, focus on the sensation.
Okay. Col raggio dorato, col raggio dorato, in gemma ogni stelo, in gemma ogni stelo, in gemma ogni stelo.
Yes, that was already a lot better. And actually, it sort of sounded like a double G anyway. So I think the moral of that is that you probably don't have to work so hard on creating that double G in raggio as you think. Col raggio dorato is probably enough. And then and it's going to help the whole rest of the line if you don't worry so much about that particular double G. And that was very good. I heard a nice single L on stelo that time, so excellent. So let's try that one more time, just to make sure that it sticks. Don't worry so much about that G.
Col raggio dorato, in gemma ogni stelo, in gemma ogni stelo, in gemma ogni stelo.
Yep. Yes, just make sure that when you say in gemma, when it's fast, that your E vowel doesn't become an I.
Okay.
Because I doesn't exist in Italian. It's always going to be E. In gemma ogni stelo, in gemma ogni stelo. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Do we have comments for Oviya?
I thought overall it was really beautiful. I know that Italian can be very hard to learn and can be very hard to perfect. So I thought your pronunciation was quite beautiful. And I liked that the song had a sense of, I guess, sparkle to it, had a sense of brightness. And I thought you did really well. So great job.
Thank you.
So yeah, you did a really good job. Yeah, like Italian is like really hard to learn because you need to get like all the vowels and like the pronunciation, like you need to learn all of it. But yeah, I thought you did like a really good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, foreign language can be a really tricky thing for beginning singers. So the work that you put into it shows. All right, do you have any other questions for me? Anything else? No? All right, everybody. Well, thank you for participating. I actually thought we were going to have a couple more people join us, but actually this worked out well because we were able to spend a bit more time on all of your pieces, so it didn't feel quite so rushed. So in the end, I guess it's sort of a blessing. So great work, everybody. I want to give you all a big round of applause. You sounded fantastic. You guys are putting in excellent work, especially with everything that's been going on and having to do all of your lessons over the internet and all of the challenges that that poses. You all are doing a really remarkable job of staying focused, staying invested, and really you're doing wonderful work on cultivating your inner artistry. And I think that it really showed in this performance class today. So continue working on all of those things that I mentioned, or if you didn't like what I said, then you can just take it or leave it. But I think everybody seemed to take the comments to heart, and already, even in this small amount of time, we saw some improvements made just right on the fly, so that's excellent. Shows you're listening, shows you're trying. And so that's all we can ask that you do, and we ask that you continue to do that. And if there are no other questions, then I will bid you all farewell, and hopefully we'll see each other again soon. All right? Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
No problem.